human nature. And Machiavelli understood that nature is not to be trusted. It is to be controlled. To become untouchable, you must become scarce. Not absent, but limited. Controlled. Calculated. Let them hear your voice only when necessary. Let them see your face, but rarely. Let your approval be earned, not expected. Every time you deny access, you increase your value. And the more valuable you become, the more power you hold. A ruler, Machiavelli writes, must learn how to protect himself through fear, not love. Love is dependent on others. Fear is created by you. When you deny access, when you pull back, when you stay quiet when they expect answers, you begin to inspire fear. The good kind, the useful kind, the kind that keeps you in control. Don't mistake silence for weakness. Silence is tension, and tension builds power. Say less. Speak only when it shakes the room. The untouchable man is not loud. He is deliberate. His presence carries pressure. He doesn't try to impress. He makes others second-guess themselves. He doesn't offer explanations. He leaves people wondering. Mystery is leverage. Distance is dominance. Control your environment. Let no one believe they fully know you. Let no one think they have access to your core. Keep them guessing. Keep them doubting. Never let them see your full hand, only what you allow them to see. And always let that be just enough to confuse them. People are addicted to predictability. The average man seeks routine, clarity, transparency. But Machiavelli teaches that a ruler should be unpredictable. When they don't know your next move, they fear it. And when they fear it, they hesitate. And hesitation is your advantage. Become disciplined with your presence, with your time, with your words. Most people overshare, trying to prove, explain, beg, or boast. Don't. Reveal nothing unless it's a weapon. Talk less than necessary. Pause before you respond. Watch more than you speak. Study everyone. Trust no one. Your emotional access must also be cut. They must not know when you're happy or when you're angry. Do not celebrate publicly. Do not mourn publicly. Let no one think they understand your emotions, because when they know how you feel, they know how to control you. People use your emotions against you. That's why you must be unreadable, emotionally invisible. Never let them think you need them. The moment they feel needed, they will manipulate. But when you act as if they're replaceable, when you show that your life moves forward regardless of their presence, they kneel. Your time must feel expensive. Your presence must feel sacred. Your attention must feel earned. Even your kindness should feel like a reward, not a habit. To build an untouchable persona, you must starve the world of you, and only feed them what keeps them addicted, never full. You are not here to satisfy anyone. You are here to reign. A king doesn't run into the crowd. He makes the crowd wait. A lion doesn't explain his silence. He lets his silence speak. Be that lion. Be that king. The untouchable man is not emotional. He is not impulsive. He is not reactive. He is cold, deliberate, and unforgettable. In the kingdom of power, he doesn't defend himself with tears or tantrums. He builds a reputation so fierce that no one dares to challenge him. That's the Machiavellian blueprint. Never protect yourself with emotion. Protect yourself with legend. Emotions are a map of your weaknesses. When you show them, you give your enemies a blueprint. They know what triggers you, what rattles you, what makes you unstable. That information is power. And once they have it, you're no longer untouchable. You're a puppet waiting to be pulled. Machiavelli warns that princes must be masters of deception, not prisoners of their hearts. You may feel everything, but you must show nothing. The world is watching, and the world is brutal. It will weaponize your honesty. It will mock your vulnerability. It will exploit your empathy. So bury the emotions. Kill the need to be understood. Replace every outburst with silence. Replace every confession with presence. Your reputation is the fortress. Build it high. Build it dark. Build it so well that even your silence creates tension. When you enter a room, people should adjust. When your name is spoken, voices should lower. This doesn't happen because of emotion. It happens because of consistency. Control your image until it becomes legend. Until your mere presence means danger, respect, and mystery. You must be known for precision. Never raise your voice. Never argue. Never justify. Let others shout and complain while you operate above them. Calm, ruthless, surgical. One cold action speaks louder than 100 emotional reactions. You don't need to scream vengeance. You just make one example bleed, quietly, permanently. This is what terrifies people. The man who smiles while dismantling empires. The man who doesn't flinch under pressure. The man who forgives nothing but speaks, like he forgives everything. That gap between your demeanor and your capability, that's the fear zone. And fear creates obedience. Machiavelli reminds us that it is far safer to be feared than loved, because fear doesn't fluctuate with mood. It doesn't fade with time. It stays. It shapes behavior. It locks mouths and bends knees. But fear without control is chaos. That's why you don't create it with threats. You create it with legacy. The man who builds a ruthless reputation doesn't need to act often. His past does the talking. His enemies disappear quietly. His allies know their limits. His rivals walk carefully around his name. That's how reputation becomes a weapon. It multiplies your influence without requiring your presence. And here's the secret. Most people won't even test you. If your reputation is severe enough, you'll never need to draw your sword. They'll cut themselves trying to reach you. That's the difference between the touchable and the untouchable. The touchable man is constantly defending himself, constantly reacting, constantly explaining his value. The untouchable man never has to. His silence carries the weight. His name carries the fire. Do not waste time correcting rumors. Do not run after liars. You are not here to convince the world of your truth. You are here to make truth irrelevant because your results, your presence, your silence speak louder. When you react to gossip, you validate it. When you respond to attacks, you expose insecurity. The untouchable man responds with outcomes. If someone slanders you, dominate silently. If someone betrays you, erase them. Make them disappear from your circle, your life, your narrative. Don't post about it. Don't speak about it. Just act. And let your coldness become the warning to the rest. They'll know not to test you, not because you raged, but because you never hesitated. Your emotional control is your psychological edge. When others panic, you must remain composed. When others lash out, you must remain silent. That contrast is terrifying. It makes people think you know something they don't, that maybe you're already 5 steps ahead, that maybe you've already won. The goal is to create a reputation where people feel the consequences before they act, where they hesitate to challenge you, not because you're loud, but because you're lethal, quietly, strategically, relentlessly. This is not about being fake. This is about being disciplined. You are not hiding your truth. You are mastering your power. Emotion is internal. Reputation is external. Let the world see only the part of you that advances your dominance. Nothing more. The desire to be understood is a silent disease. It makes you explain, confess, justify. And every time you do, you hand over pieces of your power. Machiavelli would call that emotional suicide. Because once they understand you, they no longer fear you. And when fear disappears, so does control. Weak men crave validation. They beg to be seen. They want to be explained perfectly, to be forgiven for their darkness, to be accepted in their entirety. But power doesn't work that way. Power thrives in shadows, not clarity. The most dangerous man in any room is the one no one can read, no one can pin down, no one can figure out. You want to be untouchable? Then let them misunderstand you. Let them misjudge your silence, your indifference, your unpredictability. Let them think you're arrogant, cold, antisocial. Smile while they form their false assumptions. Because while they're guessing, they're paralyzed. And while they're paralyzed, you're moving forward without resistance. Machiavelli never cared for being understood. He wrote, "The prince not to please men, but to control them." He revealed truths that others were too afraid to say. And he did it without apology. That's what separates the ruler from the ruled. The ruler is willing to be hated for his silence. The ruled keeps speaking just to be liked. You don't need to explain why you're distant. You don't owe them a reason for your ambition, your detachment, your silence. The more they push for answers, the more power you gain by not giving any. It drives them insane, and that chaos benefits you. People can't destroy what they can't define. Here's the truth. People don't want to understand you. They want to categorize you. And once you let them do that, they reduce your complexity into something manageable. You become a label, a type, a role. And once you're defined, you're controlled. You're no longer a force. They've made you familiar. Familiarity is fatal. Machiavelli teaches that your intentions should always be hidden. Speak in contradictions if necessary. Say one thing, do another. Keep your plans vague, your values ambiguous. Appear moral, act ruthless. Be two men at once, the mask and the monster. That's how you stay ahead of your enemies. You don't win by being understood. You win by being miscalculated, by forcing your enemies to guess wrong, by letting them walk into traps they didn't see, because they thought they knew who you were. And it's not just about enemies. Even your closest allies must be kept in the dark, because loyalty is fragile. It shifts with advantage. One day they call you brother. The next day they sell you for gold. But if they never fully understood you, they can never truly betray you, because they never held the whole blueprint. Control the narrative. Let the rumors spread. Let them say you're dangerous. Let them say you're unstable. Let them say you don't care. Every lie they speak becomes part of the myth you create. And myths are stronger than men. There's no glory in being known. There's only risk. They will analyze your patterns, weaponize your honesty, map your flaws, and strike at your weakest hour. But if you leave no trace, if you speak less than you think, show less than you feel, reveal less than you plan, they will never hit their mark. Silence becomes your strongest armor. Vagueness, your most trusted sword. When you kill the need to be understood, you ascend, you detach, you become more than a man, you become a force, unreadable, untouchable. Remember, the man who is understood is predictable. The man who is predictable is vulnerable, and the vulnerable man dies first. So say nothing. Let them wonder. Let them whisper, but never let them understand. In a world addicted to attention, unavailability is power. Machiavelli understood that presence is a weapon, but absence is domination. A prince must never seem common, never be within easy reach. Familiarity weakens authority. The more they see you, the less they value you. The more they hear from you, the less they listen. If you want to control them, withdraw. Most people are slaves to their social impulses. They respond immediately. They show up everywhere. They post, they explain. They try to stay relevant. They drown themselves in visibility. But visibility is vulnerability. The more exposed you are, the easier it is to map you, track you, use you. The untouchable persona doesn't move like that. He moves like smoke, seen briefly, then gone. He's not accessible. He's not explainable. He's not accountable to the expectations of the herd. He shows up on his terms, not theirs. And that's what makes his presence heavy. You want control? Then start starving them. Starve them of responses. Starve them of details. Starve them of certainty. Make them wait, make them question, and most importantly, make them chase. Power shifts instantly when they start chasing you. Unavailability is a psychological trigger. When people don't have immediate access, they begin to assign higher value. Scarcity breeds obsession. The more you retreat, the more they want you. And once they want you, you own the game. This isn't just about physical distance. It's emotional, intellectual, strategic. Don't be the man who's always reachable. Don't be the man who answers every message, who shows up to every meeting, who shares every thought. Be rare, be late, be cold. Let them feel the cost of your attention. You train them this way, through silence, through delay, through unpredictability. When they realize they can't rely on you for comfort, for affirmation, for presence, they begin to orbit you, not the other way around. You become the center of gravity, the sun they can't touch. Even in power, the Machiavellian ruler doesn't flood his kingdom with words. He governs from above. His court speaks on his behalf. His silence speaks louder than their screams. The untouchable doesn't campaign. He appears. Doesn't explain. He commands. And when he disappears, they don't forget. They feel the absence like a wound. But this strategy only works if your presence is powerful. And presence is built through discipline. You must speak with weight, move with precision, act with calculation. Every appearance must feel important. Every word must sound final. Your name must stir something when mentioned. A question, a threat, a possibility. When your presence feels expensive, your absence becomes torture. And that's the goal. To make them suffer in your silence. To leave them waiting, wondering, unraveling. And then you return, unmoved, unimpressed, untouchable. That's how you dominate the frame. This is how cults are formed, how kings rise. Not by being everywhere, but by being above everywhere. Detachment is respect. Distance is desire. When you are unavailable, you force others to adapt, to reach, to submit. Even in relationships, especially in relationships, this rule applies. The more available you are, the less they value you. The more they think you need them, the more they pull away. Want to reverse the dynamic? Step back. Leave the message on read. Cancel the plan. Make them initiate. Make them panic. And watch how fast their interest multiplies. Machiavelli never said to be cruel, but he did say to be feared more than loved. And to be feared, you must be distant. Not out of hatred, but out of design. Because closeness breeds expectation. And expectation breeds contempt. The untouchable never fulfills expectations. He controls them. So remember, if they can always reach you, they will never need you. If they always see you, they will stop looking for you. Disappear. Return only when it matters. Control the frame. Control the access. Control the game. Be unavailable, and you will be unstoppable. There comes a moment in the rise of every powerful figure where strategy becomes instinct, and control becomes nature, where you are no longer playing the game. You are the game. That's when you've reached the final phase of the untouchable persona. You don't need to speak, and yet they listen. You don't need to defend yourself, and yet no one dares to attack. You don't need to prove your worth. Your silence proves more than their shouting ever could. In a world full of noise, you've become the one voice they crave, but can't reach. That's not influence, that's sovereignty. The last move is simple, but brutal. Become the storm they can't predict, not the one they see coming, not the one they prepare for, the one that arrives in silence and leaves everything rearranged. You must reach a state where you no longer react to their provocations, not because you're weak, but because you're calculating. You no longer chase validation, not because you don't care, but because validation is currency for the common. And you're far from common. At this point, your persona is built. The myth is alive. You've become untouchable not by chance, but by choice. You've silenced the parts of you that begged for attention. You've killed the reflex to explain. You've burned the bridge back to normalcy. You've turned your absence into influence, your unpredictability into fear, and your name into legend. You no longer exist on their timeline. You don't post every thought. You don't respond to every voice. You don't attend every war. They wonder if you even see it. That's when you've made it. That's when your indifference becomes more terrifying than their anger. That's when your enemies stop attacking and start watching. Because they don't know what you're going to do next. And worse, they know you know exactly what you're doing. Machiavelli would say, do not just win. Win in a way that no one understands. Because understanding invites imitation. And you weren't born to be replicated. You were born to dominate in silence. Let them wonder if you care. Let them question your motives. Let them talk while you listen. Let them bleed trying to predict you. Because the storm never explains itself. It just arrives and changes everything. This is the end game. You don't seek power. Power seeks you. You don't demand loyalty. Loyalty fears losing you. You don't fight for space. You own the frame. You don't chase presence. Your absence haunts them. And if you've followed everything so far, if you've pulled back your access, killed your need to be understood, mastered your unavailability, replaced emotion with legend, and risen into abstraction, you're not just powerful, you're unforgettable. You're beyond imitation. You are untouchable. If you found value in this ruthless breakdown of power, mystery, and psychological warfare, subscribe. If you're done being ignored, underestimated, and walked over, like the video, this channel doesn't feed you comfort. It feeds you clarity. And clarity is rare. So if you're ready to become something more than just another face in the crowd, if you're ready to build the persona they whisper about but never understand, then you're in the right place. Like, subscribe and disappear. Because legends don't speak often. But when they do, the world listens.